I be trying to do less, do more, doing less.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like just more in positions where I make decisions and then I tell my team, hey, let's go make this happen. You know what I mean? So we getting to that point now. So I like where we at with that. And then I got more businesses, you know what I'm saying? So where it's like, shit, we can make money through. Eventually we'll be making money with media, you know?
So, yeah, no questions.
You know, we got this studio, we got a team, we understanding how to produce for ourselves. So we produce for ourselves at the highest level. Then, you know, eventually we can start producing for other people.
Yep,
and
makes sense.
That fuels everything, you know, with real estate, coaching, to just everything, speaking engagements, everything like that, bro. But, yo, what's good? What's up with everybody? It's your boy, Abram Mitchell. You're now tuned in to the Money Making Mindset Triple M show, where you unlock the secrets of a money-making mindset. And, man, I just want to appreciate everybody that's been tuned in with us. This is, I think, our 13th episode or so. And I want to shout out to our amazing team that's been producing these. And as you notice, we've been getting better every single time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to bring on better guests. For our people that's been on, no offense to anybody, but at the end of the day, we're going to continue to get better every time we put a production out there for y'all. And y'all know my motto, take one thing. Take one thing from this show and don't wait to apply it. Go take that action today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. So with that being said, I got an amazing guest by the name of Felipe. What's good with you, brother?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for coming on the show because I feel like, bro, we always could never link up on time because we both running our empires, doing our thing, and it's like, hey, what about this day? Then it's like, oh, I got this. What about that day? And then finally we done linked up on time. So I know you coming here to drop some game on the people. Like, we were just talking before we got rolling, and I'm already sitting back. I'm like, man, I'm learning from this dude. Just hearing you talk to Natalie about her situation with property. So I'm actually excited to do this interview and learn because we're both real estate investors, but our companies are so different, you know?
Yep.
And I feel like no matter, you know, the difference in our companies, we can learn from each other and then
100%.
put it on our own businesses. So are you from Nashville, bro?
So I am. I'm born and raised actually out in Antioch, so a little suburb of Nashville for those that are not from here. But I like what you said a minute ago, and it rings true that just because we have different businesses in the same lane, it doesn't mean we can't learn from each other. I've yet to meet a man or woman that knows it all.
Yeah.
And that's a saying that I heard once, and it makes sense because you never will. You'll always, if you stop learning, you start dying in your business, right?
Yeah.
So I've been watching you on social media. I love what you do. I watch your lives, and it's really cool to see the growth that you've had and what you're doing. But like I've put in your comments, right? I'm like, oh, you should hold some, and then I'm like, oh, so he's building. I never thought about building to rent, and so like just kind of giving back and forth, collabing over competition. I think is great.
Nah, bro, you been on me like every time we talk, every time we on the live, you like, hold that deal. And I'm looking, I'm like, I know I need to be, you know what I mean? So it's always good to get that different perspective, you know? So I just want to really cut, straight to it, bro. You say you come up in Antioch, in Nashville, Tennessee. It's hard to find y'all, here. So I just want you to give your perspective on, and this is for anybody, Nashville isn't the only market. We got your Austins, we got your Atlantas, but anybody that's in like a metropolitan area that you've seen like literally the whole landscape change in a matter of 5, 10, 15 years.
Yep.
What is that like, experiencing that?
Yeah, so being born and raised here in Nashville, I've seen all the growth. I've seen the different areas, the East Nashville grow and Antioch grow and, all these places grow. But when it comes to real estate investing, I tried to just put my head down and focus on one area and then really see my wealth grow through that. But back to your question, I mean, seeing it grow it's been like bittersweet. I'm glad that it's growing. I'm sad to see so many people get pushed out. But at the end of the day, it's what's going to happen. And it's either going to happen with you or without you. So you might as well get some of the pie, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the bitter part, for most people is that it's not that we don't like, new buildings, new, development, growth in the city, but some of the people that you knew coming up with couldn't keep up with the growth. Well, most of the people can't keep up with that growth.
Right.
And as a result, I mean, we were just talking about it. You can't get inside of even Antioch for probably less than $300,000-$400,000 now. Right. most people are forced to move even further out from the city. And some of those people is your friends, some of those people are family and people that you have real connections and relationships with. So I'm always curious, you know, to see like, how's that experience? Because where I come up at, that ain't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody's still where they at versus I come here to Nashville and I mean, if I ask 10 people where they from, probably less than 50% of them go say they from here, born and raised in Nashville, you know? Right. So I always ask that to people that's been here.
Here's what I've noticed happen is there's two types of people that have lived here for a long time. Let's say plus 12 years or like me, born and raised here. Two things happen. Either they cash out their equity and then move somewhere else, and that's great for them. But then you also have the people that can't afford to sell because they can't afford to buy anything. Those are the people. Those are the people that waited, in my opinion, not too long because there's a large equity in their thing. But it's kind of like giving somebody $1 million that just won the lottery, don't know what to do with it. Yeah. So some of these people have like amazing homes in like Berry Hill or East Nashville or something where they've made 3, 4, 5, 10x on their house's value. And they don't know how to pull a line of credit, or they don't know how to refi, or they can't refi because of their job. They physically can't afford to sell it and buy something else in the same area that have to move out super far. So they're kind of in that golden handcuffs. And the only thing, in my opinion, that's going to get them out of that situation is knowledge. It's just like learning the game.
That's what I was, bro. Like, that's literally what I was thinking is like learning the game because if you look at it, that's what happened to a lot of people in California and what they did. Cashed out and found a cheaper market, which is Nashville. So some of those people, they're going to be forced to go play in another market because, and I was just talking about this on my story, like now is always, that's like the number one question right now. When should I get in real estate? Is it a good time? Now is always the best time because you got to learn the game before you actually do it, and you learn by doing. But the longer you stay on the sideline, these prices go keep going up. Yeah. I don't see a 08 crash where prices just go down to, 100,000. Nah, it's like the crash is a certain group of people is going to be priced out.
And honestly, I believe that even if there's a crash, even if interest rates go up or down, even if like the market cools down or heats back up, it's not about what is the market doing because you don't have control of, I'll give you an analogy. You don't have control of the ocean, so learn how to ride it, right?
Yeah, whatever.
So if it crashes and you're not bankable, what does that matter? You're not going to be able to buy houses anyways. If interest rates go up and you don't know how to play that game, then it's not going to work for you. So no matter what happens in the market, even if it does crash like in 08, if you don't have the prior knowledge and you haven't set yourself up prior to take advantage of that situation, it's just going to pass you by. In my opinion, right now, you're going to be scared. In my opinion, right now, with interest rates being high, I think it's the best time to buy houses since 08, 09. But people don't understand that game.
Yeah. How important you think it is to understand that game, and how should people go about, trying to learn and understand that game? Is like, if somebody just like at a first step, like I want to get into real estate, I want to buy rentals like Felipe, we'll talk about how well you've done with that, a little later down the line. But people that's like, where do I start? What is that first step to get that knowledge?
Yeah, so I'm a trial by fire type of guy. So a lot of people will tell you read books or do this or do that. I'll tell you what the first thing I did was when I found out about real estate. I walked into a bank, Franklin Synergy in Franklin, Tennessee, and I said, hey, I'd like to get a loan to buy a rental. Now, why did I do that? Because one, I knew I was going to get denied. But what that did was they had to give me a reason why. So I walked in, basically got laughed out of the bank. And the banker lady was like, you don't have good credit, you don't have the money, you don't have experience, And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go fix those one at a time.
That's the knowledge you needed.
That's what I needed to know. So I don't have credit, okay, so I got to go fix those? Great. Go back, YouTube University, how to get better credit, how to raise capital. And I just did all, because there wasn't like masterminds back then. Maybe there was, but they weren't like as prevalent.
No, it's not.
So I was just like, okay, so this is what I need to do. Boom, I did that. I went back to the bank and said, now what? Well, you don't have enough down payment. I'll be back. Went, worked for 6 months, got my money up, came back to the bank. Now what?
So basically, the bank was like your consultant at that point. And we actually had Jeff, he came on. He's part owner of Citizens Bank. Oh, cool. And he was talking like, use the bank as your consultant. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many people is focused on getting what they want the first time they go in there. But sometimes what you need is for you to go in there and they'll tell you, nah, you're not qualified, and giving you that checklist of things to go do.
Go fix
this.
It's
up to you to go do that. If you still don't do nothing with it, then
that's on you.
Yeah, you don't really want to build wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
So how is it like, because you're a minority too, bro. You know, so like being a minority in a game that, I mean, let's just be honest. Real estate is normally a white man's game. We haven't had the rights to do it. And now, you know, we're participating in this game, you know. So as a minority, you know, what's some challenges you faced? And like somebody else that might feel like, oh, I'm this, I can't get into this game. Like, what you got to say to those people?
Yeah, the first thing is your first obstacle is going to be your imposter syndrome. And it's really something you just put on yourself. Like when I fly first class, or if I'm in a lounge at the Centurion in, you know, down in Mexico, or anywhere that I've been that's clearly out of the place for me, I always have this like innate feeling of imposter, like I don't belong here, right? There's a couple things that I've done to get past that, but that's going to be the biggest thing for your viewers is get over the imposter syndrome. And if no one's ever told you you deserve wealth, start saying it to yourself. Because as minority, okay, so tell me if you think this is right or wrong, because you're a minority as well. In our community, in the minority community, we are told to look back, whether we realize it or not. Why? Get your mom out the hood. Get your mom out of cleaning houses for, you know, my culture. It's like, get your family out of this. Get your family out of that. What I coach and what I try to tell my students is like, just like on a plane where you have to put your mask on first, there is nothing you can do for your family until you are wealth first. And I know that sounds backwards, and you're going to lose a lot of friends and family. Like, oh, look, he's out rich and his mom is still cleaning houses. Look, my mom was cleaning houses till 2 years ago. I was already a millionaire. But I couldn't help her until I was set. And then 2 years ago, I told him, I was like, all right, Mom, we're done. Like, you're good.
Because your cup runneth over at that point.
But I can't help family, even my mom, right? And this is like vulnerable stuff, right? Like, I couldn't even help my mom until my cup was full so that I didn't run out, because I didn't want to have half a cup, give mom, and then me be zero again. Yeah. Then we're both back down to zero.
Exactly. And that's that guilt. Man, it's crazy you saying this, because I was just watching Tyler Perry just talking about how we get this guilty feeling that we have to go back and help him. And he's like, bro, I made my first 100,000, spent it all helping family. Made $1 million, spent it all helping family. Made $7 million, spent it all helping family. And basically he was like this: if you have a boat that could fit a couple people to get across that river, you can only bring a couple people, you know, or y'all go drown. So when you got that boat, building yourself to success, you might only could bring one person or two people that help get you across. Once you get across, now you got the yacht, come back and pick everybody else up.
I like that. That's better.
You know,
I like that, yes.
And that's, I feel like exactly what you said. Like, we be feeling like, I don't deserve this unless I go, you know, just give it, help. Yeah. But at the end of the day, back to that, like when your cup runneth over, now you at a place where you could really, really help them, because you probably really shooting everybody in the foot for a short term.
Yeah, 100%. And you'll be judged for those couple years. Oh, you know, why is he this and his family that, or why, whatever. And I'm like, I'm getting there, but it's gonna take time, because just like concrete, it has to cure. Right? I can't pour it and then immediately start stepping on it. Yeah. And the longer it cures, the more sustainable it's going to be, right? There's that parable in the Bible that talks about building your house on the rock, not the sand. But people see you start building and they're like, "Oh, I want to get in on that." It's like, bro, the concrete ain't even cured yet, bro.
Yeah, the foundation is the most important thing.
That's what I'm saying. So if I want to put my mom on the rock, let's say, or the family on the rock, I got to let it cure, and that's going to take some time.
It got to be
you know strong. This, you build.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The foundation is the most important thing. So if you got a weak foundation, if you got a foundation on sand, it's sliding down. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely a good analogy. Like, and for people that's like, man, I might got a little confused, he basically saying, look, you learn to play. And in my instance, it's wholesaling. In your instance, is learning the banking system so you could buy rentals. Yep. Okay, let's build the play to be in a place where it's sustainable and it could take care of not only me and other people. You know when you're at that point. Yeah. You know? You really do. So now, okay, you start learning the game. You go to the bank, you start getting your credit right. You start working for 6 months, making $50,000. What was like, because then I'm pretty sure you realize, how am I gonna, get more properties quicker? Because you can't wait 6 months to make $50,000 to put down on one property. So how did you get to a point where you could buy more properties quicker? Because when did you start?
So I started 7 years ago.
And how many properties you have now?
80-something units.
80-something units. Yeah. All right. So out of those 7 years, I would probably assume the last 3 or 4 years you was able to buy way more than the first, 4 to 5 years, right?
You assume right. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get to that point? And
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you for that. Well, the first 2 years of real estate, I only bought 4 doors.
Okay.
Right. And most people don't want to do that. They're not willing to put in the time and back to the building thing. They don't let the concrete cure and they try to build too fast. So what I did was, like I said, I went to the bank. I asked them for a loan. They told me no, but what I needed to fix, I fixed that. I bought one house, ran out of money. So then ran out of money, one house. So then what I did was I went back and I was like, hey, I'd like to refinance to get my money out to buy another one.
Okay.
But they told me that they were only going to give me a certain amount of money, right?
So this is the Bur Method you talking about.
The Bur Method. This is why I don't burr, by the way.
Okay.
And we can talk about why I have
a lot of people go love that.
Yeah. We can talk about why I've started burring now or started refinancing some now. But back to your thing. So how did I scale? So I bought one property. It was a 6-unit apartment complex in Cookeville, Tennessee. Do you know Cookeville?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to college there.
Okay.
I bought a 6-unit apartment complex. That was my first deal ever.
So multifamily.
Multifamily, 6 units. And I was making $1,200 cash flow and I thought I was rich.
Shit.
I was like, $1,200?
Yeah.
Not during college. It was after college. But I thought I was rich. Yeah. But you know what, Abram? I hated it.
Why?
Great question. I would lay in bed and I'd be like, I got to get up tomorrow and fill in the blank with that property. Because I didn't do some due diligence on it. I didn't have property management. And when I did call for property management, no one would manage it. Even it wasn't in a war zone. But I couldn't figure out why. And I realized, and this is going to blow your mind, I realized that every property manager in that city knew who owned it prior to me, and they wouldn't manage any of his properties. I was like, but that's not me. Like, I'm going to pay you or something. I don't know what the deal was. But they're like, we won't manage his or any of his old properties. Like,
was he like the largest investor in the city?
He was the largest investor in the city. And they were like, we don't manage any of his properties.
And that's why your name matters.
Your name matters in this game.
Keep your name clean, bro.
So
I was talking about that yesterday with somebody.
That's so important to keep your name clean. And I was like, damn, I should have done that due diligence. So what I ended up doing was I held it for a year, hated it. I called Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets, and I said, Brandon, I hate this property. Why? It's making me cash flow. It does all the things that it's supposed to. And he was like, read a book called Life and Air. So if anybody listening, go read that book, Life and Air. And I read Life and Air, like millionaire. Like millionaire,
Life and Air. I'm thinking Life and Air.
No, like Life and Air. Like
Clip it up.
Yep.
I'm reading that. Life and Air, all right.
And I'm not going to say anything about the book because I want you to go read it. But I sold the 6-unit apartment complex, took out my profits, bought one single family house cash in Antioch, Tennessee for $180K.
Okay.
And that was making me $1,500 cash flow. And I fell in love with that game. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to make as much cash flow as possible with the least amount of my time. Like what you said before we started the podcast. So I learned that 7 years ago. And I said, okay. So I then took that property and I went to the bank and said, hey, I want to cash out refi. Because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. They said, you paid $180K. We'll give you $120 back. And I was like, wait a minute. I made C's in school. But this math is not mathing. I paid $180. You'll give me $120. I got to pay you back $300 because of interest and all the like 30 years. I was like, hold on. I paid $180. You're giving me $120. Based on this payment, I got to give you back like $300K in 30 years. That something ain't right here.
Something ain't right.
Something's not mathing. And she was trying to explain to me, and I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm just not good at math, and this don't make no sense. So I left.
You like, give me $300.
Bro, like this don't make no sense. So
you thinking I'll sell it.
And I got to pay it back to you? Like, hold on. You're giving me $120 and I got to pay you back $300? No wonder the bank's rich. So then.
Bro, that's crazy about them banks, bro.
Bro. So she told me about a line of credit. She said, you can get a line of credit.
All right. Against the property.
Against the property. A HELOC, basically. Okay. So what I did was I took the line of credit for $150 instead of $120.
Okay.
And then I divided that into 3 $50,000 down payments.
Okay.
I bought 3 more rentals.
Okay.
And I've been doing that ever since.
All right. So basically the play for you is I buy a property, whether you buy it cash. So you, on the initial, you're buying it cash most of the time.
Not anymore. That's just how I did the first one. I can talk about how I do it now if you want. So what I'll do now is I'll put down 20%. Okay, so let's say it's a property on the MLS because most people don't know about wholesalers or how to buy from wholesalers. So I go on the MLS, I find a property, and I make about probably 100 offers a week on market deals.
And that's you doing it?
Yeah, well, me or an assistant.
Okay.
Us, the company, whatever.
Yeah.
So 100 at least 100 offers a week, anything on the MLS, and I tell them offer $30, $40, $50,000 off of MLS.
Okay.
We're going to get 99 no's. We're going to get one yes. Okay. So let's say we buy a $350,000 property at $300,000. Or that property is worth $350. I buy it for $300, but then I put 20% down of that, which is let's say $50,000. I don't know. Let's say
Like
50,000.
60.
Let's say 60. So my loan is now $240. Okay. But the property is worth $350.
Okay.
So I put in my 20%. They give me a loan for $240. I take down the property, fix it up, have it cash flowing, get a tenant in there, blah, blah. Then what I do is I put a line of credit on that $100,000 spread. Okay. So that's how I tap my money back. They give me $60,000, $70,000 line of credit.
Okay.
And then I just use that to buy the next one. And I do the same game with that one and then the next one.
Okay. So you basically, that property, that equity from you putting down and the property eventually appreciating their value. But
I automatically get, because I'm offering $50,000 less, right? Day
so
one.
you walking in with a good deal. So, all right, for my people that's watching this, that's in a position that's sourcing deals, and that's what he was just getting on me about. Like, bro, if you're able to find these deals at even less than I'm finding them at, then I mean, you should be able to still get in them with virtually none of your money.
None.
You know, once you pull out.
Yep.
But in the initial, that's what scares most people is they don't want to initially put down. I know that's what scared me in the beginning.
Okay, let me tell you what scared me. After
initial.
7 years of helping people, this is what I've realized. People feel more comfortable having cash in the bank than access to capital, which is what keeps you broke.
Yeah.
See, Elon Musk and all these people do have millions and millions of dollars, billions, but what makes them wealthy is not just how much cash they have, because we all know cash is trash.
Yeah.
It's their access to capital. Their available lines of credits from multiple sources.
And that's from owning assets.
Correct. So if you have $100,000 worth of equity in a house, it means nothing if you can't access it. Yeah. But I would rather have a line of credit of $100,000 than $100,000 cash, because $100,000 cash isn't generating me any money. But a $100,000 line of credit is I can tap into it to buy me something and here's the thing, in a refi, you pay back who? Who are you paying back in a cash out refi?
Yourself.
No. When you cash out refinance money from the bank, who do you have to pay money back to?
The bank.
The bank.
Yeah.
Okay. In a line of credit, if you take $50,000 out, who do you pay back?
The line of credit.
Which is yours.
The bank?
No, it's yours. You can reuse that $50,000 over and over and over
okay.
again.
It replenishes.
Yes.
Yeah,
with a refi, you can't. You use it once and it's gone.
That's what I love about my line of credit is that, all right, you spend 100, make the money, pay it off, and now I got 100 again.
And you can use it
available.
again. Yeah. I've used the same $500,000 line of credit to build my $11 million portfolio.
And the power of compounding is now is like, okay, that equity is also growing. So eventually your $500,000 line will turn into $3 million.
I have 12 million. I have banks knocking at my door to give me more because they want me to use more.
So all right, let's say this, because at the end of the day, it's always, what's the word I want to use? Everyone has interest.
Sure.
So, and I think it's value in, not interest as in interest payments, like interested in it. So I think it's valuable for people to know why are the banks knocking at your door?
Yeah. So,
and what do they gain from giving you these lines of credit?
Yeah. So when I have $500,000 pulled out, right, and I'm using it for buying rentals, the bank gets an interest payment on that line of credit. So if I have all my money at SunTrust Bank or whatever, and then I have a line of credit at Pinnacle Bank, SunTrust gets to see that I'm paying Pinnacle interest every single month. And they're like, damn, he's writing them, $7,000 just in interest. They're like, that means the bank just made a bunch of money.
And that's how they making money.
Yes, that's how they make the money. So when they see that I have 12 million in assets, which I own about 6 million of that outright, I own about 40% of my portfolio outright.
Right. That's a good way to do it.
So then they're like, yo, you only have a $500,000 on credit. Would you like another $500,000? So that's why they ask me.
And they know you can pay it.
Because I have history paying.
And then they like, if he don't pay, we'll just take his.
They should get a whole house.
Yeah, we'll just take his assets and the houses.
Yeah.
That's another story people don't understand. The banks is like.
Yeah, they're brutal.
I saw Grant Cardone one day. He was like, this is one of the funniest things I seen Grant Cardone say. He was like, man, racism, I swear to God, black people, y'all will forget about racism once you find out what the bank's doing with your money. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, it's true.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely true. I've been to a bank. I left one bank because of racism. We won't dig too much into that. But what I did do, and anyone has access to this, is I asked for where do they invest their money. I don't know what it's called, but there's document and it's open. You can go to any bank and say, hey, where are you investing the money that is in here? And they have to show you.
Okay.
So what I've noticed, and this is going to blow your mind. What I've noticed is some of the biggest banks here, for example, even here in Nashville, they have multiple branches in the hood, in like here in Antioch, and then you ask them where are they lending? Guess where they're lending all that money? Brentwood, Franklin.
Yeah.
For those mortgages. So literally, the hood, minorities, money is holding up those zip codes.
No, it's Robin Hood.
It's absolutely. They have 10 banks in these hoods, and they'll collect a bunch of money from everyone deposits, then they'll lend it out to mortgages in Brentwood or Franklin.
No, it's crazy because, I mean, Jeff literally came on here and he was saying, like, a lot of these community banks, they didn't go anywhere. They just get swallowed by the big banks, and those assets get swallowed with it.
Yep.
And all those people that lost, they just lost, and that's the transfer of wealth.
That's transfer of wealth, yeah.
Literally, it's crazy. Now, man, that's a deep topic that we could get into.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother one. That's a whole nother one, bro.
Back to real estate now.
Now you done found the play. You like, I ain't got to go wait 6 months to buy another property. No. I could pull out these HELOCs. So now you're saying the last 3 or 4 years, that's what allowed you to stack your portfolio aggressively.
Yeah. So then what I do is I just pull from the line of credit, buy a rental property. That rental property cash flows, and that cash flow pays off the line of credit. Or I do some active income stuff, wholesaling or some other stuff to pay down the line of credit. And this is what I do. So if for the smart people that are watching, they're going to say, well, Felipe, eventually you're going to max out your line of credit and the cash flow isn't going to be able to pay down $500,000 a month, right? So how do you do it? So what I do is every year, we look at my SREO, which is basically just a list of all the portfolios, of all the asset, and I look at which house is the least performing with the most equity. Doesn't mean that it's not performing. It's just the least performing with the highest equity. I end up selling that property, pay off the line of credit. And what I see is one asset gave me 10 rentals, right, or 5 rentals. So I can burn one to make 5. And I'll always just burn 1 or 2 to buy 5 or 10.
And that's the power of having that portfolio, is that it's like, you really can't go broke if you understand the game. If you don't understand how you could leverage these properties, or like you just said, look at the least performing ones, sell those, use that to pay down the equity. Now your cash flow is freed up. Then you might do lose it, get in a situation where you lose it. Yeah. Bro, you dropping game on here. Like, people don't, some people don't even understand what you're talking about, but they also got people that's watching this like, damn, like I got some properties and I didn't even realize that I could go do this with it. So that's why I just, like I said, bro, we get better every week with these episodes.
Well, you wholesale, right? So some of the things that I've coached wholesalers on is my goal was to be a millionaire every year again. So not like last year's millions, but this year's millions.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have 20 properties this year, or 10, let's go 20. You have 20 properties here with $50,000 worth of equity. Boom, you keep those, you've just become a re-millionaire. And you can tap into 60% of that with a line of credit. So now you have $500,000, 600,000 in available line of credit.
So that's the cash, because the only reason people really wholesale or flip is to get capital. But like I was just telling you, one of my largest mistakes in real estate is, why do I need this capital? You know what I'm saying? So wholesaling, making money, flipping, making money, but then it's like, okay, you made the money. What do you do with it? But you're like, dude, the deal is the money. You know what I'm saying? Go leverage the deal.
I have more, and this is how I want it. I have more access to capital than capital. So if I have, let's say, $300,000 cash, I have double, triple that in available cash. And we know that holding cash is going down in value.
Inflation.
But access to cash will always go up because my properties go up. So I can always up my line of credit to more and more.
So basically, what you saying right now is that you don't care about inflation.
I want it to.
You want it. You want it to happen.
It helps me, yeah.
Because
I know that hurts everyone else, and I'm sorry for that. But this is the game that, as you said at the beginning of the podcast, the rich white men are playing. Yeah. And I knew I couldn't beat them. Let's just be real. I'll give you a story. When I first started, I was cleaning houses for Ron Davis. who's one of the largest builders in Brentwood, right? He builds all those subdivisions out there. And I was sweeping his construction sites because that's all I couldn't swing a hammer. I didn't even know how to do that. Just sweeping is $300 a house.
You didn't know how to do no construction?
Nothing.
Come on now, bro.
Bro, nothing. I know, right? I'm Mexican. Nothing. And I went to his office to pick up my check once, and we ended up having like a relationship as friends, almost like not even that, but like we talked. I guess because he would be like, Felipe, can you tell the framers this? And I would go translate.
Oh,
right?
translate.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
we ended up,
Gotcha.
you know that. And I went to his office, and I'm talking, bro, when I walked into his office, it was like a big ass rebel flag, like the horse thing. Like, bro, I was like, oh my gosh.
Like the little Confederate flag?
The whole thing.
Oh, man.
But he's an old white man. And I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I was like, Ron, one day I want to get into real estate. And he was like, Felipe, you'll never catch up to my family. You're about 100 years behind.
He was giving it to you blunt.
But yes, okay, I'm so glad that you took it that way because I did too. I didn't take it as offensive. I took it as like, what the fuck are you doing sweeping my, go get into real estate.
That's
like,
how hard it is.
Yes.
Like, that's how hard you need to work
some
to get
people
there.
took offense. Some people would have took offense. I took it just like you did. And that's how I know you're going to be successful. Because I took it as like, bro, I'm about 100 years ahead of you. You need to get started in this.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, he's right. So my next question was, how do I get started?
And then what'd he say?
He told me about it. He said, go talk to the bank.
Yeah.
And that's where I went to the bank and they told me no, but I just didn't stop.
Exactly. Nah, bro, I agree with you. It's like, at the end of the day, I think most people have chose, like, it's easier to just lay down and complain. But, you know, people like us, you know, and at the end of the day, it only take one or two in a family to change generations.
Oh, yeah.
But if you feel like you that person or you know that you that person in your family, know what it is. You might be 100 years behind. Let's get to work. Let's start right now, you know, let's get to it because just because you're 100 years behind don't mean you can start lapping, don't mean you can start compounding and growing and look at you 7 years later, 80 properties, 85 properties in, $12 million portfolio. It's like, shit, if you would have told me this at the beginning, if I tell you at the beginning, hey, Felipe, in 7 years, you're going to have a $12 million, 80 property portfolio.
Like, no, sir. I wouldn't have believed you.
That's what most people need, though. That guarantee.
Yeah.
And I would still say most people wouldn't work for it.
100%. And then, Abraham, what I took away from the 100 years behind in his wealth, I was like, okay, so if I own one house that's for 1 year, that gives me 1 year. So I didn't think of it as linear. I thought of it kind of like this table. I said, wait, so if I have 100 houses in 1 year, I just went up 100 years.
I just got 100 years. Yeah, exactly. Because it compounds.
Yep.
The growth compounds, bro. Man, bro, we'd have talked about a lot, though. We gonna definitely, bro, have to get you in for another episode.
Yeah.
I think eventually we're gonna have to start shooting like 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
But bro, like now I see you, you know, you're doing a lot of things out here. Like we just had an event. Somebody hit us up, you know, saying that they got a deal locked up from the game we dropped at the event. Awesome. I see you got people with your Inner Circle crew helping them get into the game. What would you say, like, as we, you know, we starting to get to the end, like for people that, like, what's the best piece of advice you could give to somebody that is still at step one or somebody that's like, hey, I got 5-10 properties. How can I grow this thing even more and quicker?
I think the fastest way to success is just like in any video game is just use a cheat code. And I think a cheat code would be a coach or a mentor. I do one-on-one coaching. That's just that's how I think is the best strategy for me. But I like what you're doing where you're helping in your mastermind a bunch of students how to get into the game, how to do the game from someone who's actively doing it and learning. When someone's like, yo, Felipe, I want to go get a coach. How do I do that? I said, look, someone that's selling you their time, not their course, right? Someone who's going to like talk to you and show you and do these things, not someone that's like, okay, here's a pre-recorded course. I'll see you in a year and never talk to you.
Nah,
right?
bro. See, like we just put that, like, dude, we literally just put pre-recorded material into our curriculum because like when I first started, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna get on this Zoom and I'm gonna talk to you live. And like, if you don't understand something, you gonna be able to ask me right then and there.
Right.
And we gonna do in-person meetups. You gonna get to come to this office. You gonna get to walk these properties. Cause I know that's what pushed the needle for me. Like, I feel like most people are hands-on learners. And most people learn from mistakes and then being able to have that guidance. Somebody like you and me, hey, Felipe, I went in the bank and they said this. And you're like, okay, I went through this 2 years ago. Or, hey, Abram, I got this lot that I want to build on. Who's the first people I need to call? Oh, okay, hit this surveyor up. Hit this, this is the process that you need to do versus sometimes that pre-recorded material is like, where do I start?
I think there's a place for pre-recorded, but and I think that's fine. But what I like about what you do is that you're helping your students, because I see it on social. You walk with your students, you take them to your place, and a lot of mentors won't do that.
Yeah,
like they won't show them the plans, show them the office, show them the behind the scenes. Because
most people it ain't there. There's only a few of us. At the end of the day, it's a thin line when it comes to coaching, mentorship. I had my battles with it before. The first time I paid somebody $20 grand.
Why do you think people won't do that? Why do you think people won't invest in themselves? This thing I don't understand.
I think mostly minorities. This is new to us. If we're 100 years behind, you got to look at the other side of it. If we're 100 years behind in wealth, we're 100 years behind in knowledge, we're 100 years behind in investing, we're 100 years behind in just
never thought about it that way.
Life and business, So it's that growing pain and learning, this is actually how I cut 10 years off of that 100 years, know? And I did it, and then when I started doing it, I'm like, damn. Like, it's never a dollar that I spent on myself that I didn't get. Like, the ROI is infinite.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know me, and I know even if I learned that this wasn't the right mentor for me, that helped me. You know what I mean? So even when I started my coaching business, because it was always like a thing with me, like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, nah, I'm going to do it. But my rule was always like, I'm not going to put myself in position to coach somebody until I'm like a vet in this game. Like, I've done hundreds of real estate deals. I've messed up. I've lost $100,000. Like, if your coach can't tell you they lost $100,000,
be careful.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Because it's like you go through those L's,
I say, I have forgotten more errors than you even made yet.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, I've messed up so many times to get where I'm at that I will get you there, like you said, 10 years faster.
Because I'm going to tell you what not to do. It's like running a race. Yep. I'm going to tell you the super secret shortcut to get there quicker versus these other people that's trying to get around this wall, jump over this, get through this obstacle. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I look at when it's like, there's a difference between a course and a curriculum, and there's a difference between a coach and a mentor. Yeah. At the end of the day, you'll find those differences. Some of my best mentors, I haven't given them $1. You know what I mean? But some of my best coaches, I've paid them, a good amount of money, and I've seen the return from that, So I think that's really a thing that people got to answer on their own, and you got to just hop in and get it there. Of course, everything is online, but if I could get it in a step-by-step checklist process, then shit, I already know I'm behind. Let me at least get back on track, get there quicker,
I never understood why, and that's starting to make a little bit more sense, but I never understood why people wouldn't pay for coaching to cut that line. You're right. I mean, it's because we're 100 years behind and we don't understand the value in that. Right? Yeah. There's a reason like rich folk put their kids in the best schools. There's a reason that they put them in the best ways to be success. They put them in the way of success.
Exactly. Not like shit. What Innsworth here? That's why all the like billionaire executive kids go there, and they all got nice jobs right out of right out of high school or college, like working in the business. Even with me, I worked in my parents' business young. Running the fireworks stand, helping with the glass company.
You sold fireworks,
bro? Yes.
Bro, I don't know much of your story, so next time I want to hear more about your story.
Bro, like 12 years old, 13 years old.
Hustling fireworks.
Getting up at 6 a.m., opening the stand, telling grown men 40 years old, doing register drops, all that. And it's like, I couldn't thank my dad for trusting me with that enough because I started understanding business and I took the age out of it.
Did you hate it while you were there though, when you first started?
I was a little kid. So the way I thought as a kid, it was just like I'm doing something that was exciting to me. I'm selling the fireworks, negotiating with people. I'm getting people to spend $1,000 on shit they go light up and blow up. Yeah. I'm like, y'all literally burning money and I'm seeing... I wasn't making all the money, but I'm seeing the money they spending on this, and I'm like, well, shit, the same thing that I'm doing with this, eventually I'm going to do with something that's going to make me even more money. So I feel like I took the game, I took the hustle, the experience that through working for my parents, working in their businesses, and I applied it to an even bigger play. Because, like, I tell people, bro, real estate, like, your first deal 9 times out of 10 is going to pay you money you've never seen before in your life. And now you got that skill that is like, one of my boys, I taught him the game when he was in college. He was at a point where they cut off the stipend. Boom, took him probably like 60 days, got his first deal, made $15,000. He'll take off. He was in college playing ball. He was focused on football. Get a negative in his account. All right, I'm about to go wholesale. Boom, make $10,000, $15,000. I'm like, he's like, bro, one day he got on the phone. He's like, bro, I'm never afraid to be broke anymore because you taught me a skill that could make me an amount of money that's going to give me any cushion I need. And now recently, like the last 4 months, football is finally done for him, and now he's building his business. He's made over $100,000 in that since he's went all in on his business. So, like, I can't stress the fact enough that, like, you tuned into this. Like, this is a skill that's going to take care of you, take care of whoever you teach for life. Because now when you broke, it ain't, I got to go get a $10, $20 hour job and wait to stack money. Is let's hit these phones. Let's find somebody, at a discount, and then let's go sell it to Felipe. You was at the last event. I can't even count how many people hit me up saying, I got an Antioch deal. Where my $100,000 at? You know what I mean? So do you agree with this? I feel like right now is the most important time to understand how to deal source, how to find good deals in the market.
I agree 100%. I think that I would be double where I'm at right now with the knowledge that I have if I would have learned deal sourcing before. I think I did real estate backwards. I ended up buying rentals first and then flipping, wholesaling, and all the other stuff where I should have learned wholesaling, which is really just fancy term, in my opinion, for resource or getting deals, finding off-market deals. Yes,
wholesale is a fancy bird dog.
If you can source deals, your wealth is literally unlimited. Which is why I give you so much hell about like where I think you should be, because I see it in you. That you'll be the next black billionaire in my opinion. Because what you know. If you really like,
we like that.
If you
bees, we like that.
With what you know, I wish I would have done it your way. I think the only piece that you're missing is buying some of these deals. And after this podcast, I'd love to sit with you for another 5 or 10 minutes and explain to you how I see. Like, I don't want you. How old are you?
I'm 25.
So I'm 33, going on 34.
Okay.
And I think you can supersede me by 10x if you take this little advice, because I see, like, fuck, I did the same thing, and I'm like, shit, man, if I would have learned how to source deals, bro, I would have been way better. Like, sure, I got 11 million in real estate, and that's something to be proud of, but I could have been at 200.
Yeah,
because if I would have known what I know now, like, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah.
But if you know how to source deals, every deal can make you 50 G's. If you can get 20 of those a year, 15, 10, I mean, you do the math. And right now with interest rates high, Abram, I'm talking to you now. I'm not even talking about, like, right now with interest rates high, when those interest rates drop, you'll be able to cash out, refinance all that money tax-free. Like, there is power in cashing out $5 million tax-free, bro.
And you can leverage that to just grow your...
Triple that. I mean, you, like I said, you can build as much wealth as you want for the rest of your life.
And then we're in the market.
I didn't know how to source deals.
And we're in the market where, and I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that a lot. And I feel like also being in the market that we in, like you just said, we at the bottom. Yeah, like everything is still the bottom in Nashville.
Still think so.
And we still ain't even talk about, okay, the other side is 10 years down the line, how much that portfolio is actually going to appreciate. Because as an investor, you got to be able to, if you're investing somewhere, if you got 80 properties in basically one part of town, then you got to believe that that part of town is growing, is here to stay. I mean, I bet you love that they just built that Tanger out there in Antioch.
I made 100 G's per house.
You saw the video?
Yeah. It
was running.
I know what you're talking about.
Everything already,
Lord.
But, it was getting it in, bro.
Yeah, that's so funny. But I think they're going to learn from their mistakes, the Tangers. But, I mean, think about
they have
that added close to 100 G's in equity per house that I have. And that's
just from that development.
I woke up and made 100 G's per house. Like, I was like, oh shit, I made 100 grand per house.
They just announced that we getting the MLB team.
I'm telling you.
Who knows where they gonna put that stadium at? We're getting an amusement park.
I bet it's coming to Antioch. Where else is it gonna go? I don't know where else.
I don't know.
Bro, everything is packed. I mean, we're getting to Clarksville. Like, up over there. Like people are driving in from Clarksville to work in Nashville.
Yeah, because it's affordable now, and it's like Antioch is so close. People that they're like, bro, it's like it flip flop. They was pushing everybody Antioch. Now
I say
live there.
Antioch, Abram, but you got to remember, and you know this. Antioch stretches from Murfreesboro Road over by the lake all the way to Franklin.
It's because you got the part of Antioch called Brantioch.
It's huge, and it passes Nolensville, it passes Murfreesboro Road, Nolensville, Nippers Corner, all the way out to Brentwood and Franklin. Antioch is huge.
All the rich people have to go through Antioch to get to downtown Nashville.
They have to.
So now they're like, wait, we need to fix stopping points. We need this part of town to be good for our kids to go to school or to go hang out.
You're
shop.
A builder. Where are the biggest lots currently that are available?
In Antioch. The largest pieces of land is in Antioch.
You don't
and the
think
track builders are building in Antioch right now.
You don't think those lots are going to change here soon to where they can build 2, 3, 4 units on there? Of course they will.
Oh, they will. I seen your video today when you said your long-term plan.
I can't wait.
Is to put ADUs on it.
Oh, yeah. I want to put 4 or 5 units on that thing, as many as the land will let me. And then that's why I'm making these relationships, because I'm going to call you.
Call me.
Bro, let's do something together.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to do it. I'm going to call you. I know Thatch in Seattle does this. And he partnered with some smart dude that's been building for years. And he was like, hey, these lots are now available. Let's do some business together.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call you.
I'm ready.
Call. I'm like, hey, guys, I got 20, 30 of these. What do y'all want to do?
We ready.
Let's
you know we ready.
I know you are.
Like quick. And that's what I feel like the route I took more of is I got into that new construction. And it's always good to know what mistakes you made. I always analyze myself, and I've done so well at a young age, but I've made so much mistakes, and I'm happy that I'm able to know what those mistakes are. But also at the same time, it's like, dude, I know how to pull money together. I know how to pull multiple subcontracting teams together. I know how to build 10, 15 houses at a time. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
So my main thing now is like we were just talking about, is like, man, this development game, is a big need for that. There's inventory is still very low, and I'm able to build that cost. And these properties, the second I put the door on it and close it up and ready for someone to live in it, it's a couple $100,000 in equity, day one. So understanding that HELOC game with it, and also pairing how I could develop with it, I'm like, okay, let's find these large parcels of land. Let's build a neighborhood on it, and like I was saying, let's sell half, keep half, or maybe let's keep the whole thing. And now that's the portfolio from these build to rents. Been very, very high.
And we can end it on this note, but I do want to drop one last nugget, and this helps you a lot too. This is one thing that I've done as well. If you find an off-market deal, let's say it's got $100,000 in equity. Okay. You buy it for, let's say, $200, and it's worth $320, whatever, or $350. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I've also this is going to blow your mind. I've also took those deals to the bank and said, hey, I have it at 200. It's worth 350. It's 150K. Or I had 250, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, I either will put 20% down of my contract price, the 200,000. I'll put 20% of that. And then I'm sorry. No, take that back. I put nothing down. You fund 100% of this contract. The 200,000 that I have, it's worth 350. You will fund 100%. Like, well, you're not going to put any money down. You got to put 20%. I'm like, nope. Go talk to whoever is in your office. You fund 100%, or I will put 20% down, but I want a line of credit day one at closing. Those are my two options.
Damn, you go to the bank just like that.
I go to the bank and I tell them
know.
that and let them, and then I go do that. And now I've found a bank that will, depending on the health of the bank that month, they will do either of the two options, and both are great for me. Either I get a free house with $150,000 worth of equity, day one, no money down, because there's so much meat on the bone, which is what you could do if you get one. Or two, take that same deal to the bank and say, yeah, I'll put 20% down of the 200, but I want a line of credit of 100 G's at closing.
So now you getting your money back, boom, right there.
But what happens, Abram, is that now I don't have cash in the bank. I have access to 5 times what I was going to put down payment. And I would rather have that than cash in the bank, because now I can go tap into that whenever.
Yeah.
During COVID, I took out like $300,000 in cash because we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. So I went to the bank, liquidated $300,000 from the line of credit, just like that, walked in, walked out with a check. And I was like, okay, I'm good. Me and my wife went down to Florida for a year. Didn't work.
Oh, y'all left for a year.
Yeah, we left for like 6 months. We got bored.
That's what you could do when you got a portfolio, huh?
We came back. So having access to capital is more important than capital.
Than having capital. Access to capital, man. That's what we go end it on that note. Man, bro, Felipe, I appreciate you, bro. This was a very, very good episode. This thing will be dropping Monday at 7 p.m. Y'all, one thing. I took a lot of things from this episode that I'm applying, but again, bro, I appreciate you, brother. And
thank you for
y'all stay tuned, man. We go bring Felipe on for another episode. This was very, very dope. We checking out.